Yudo, I got the results of the fertility test we took.
Oh yeah, how was it?
Well, it looks like it's a little difficult for me to get pregnant after all.
What? You can't be serious! That's the worst. Why am I stuck with someone who can't have children?
Hey, you don't have to say it like that. My name is Karen. I'm currently married, but I've been divorced once before. The reason why I got divorced is because, well, it all started with my husband and his parents finding out that it was difficult for me to get pregnant. Things got really complicated after that, and before I knew it...
Hey Karen, do you have this Sunday off?
Yeah, I don't have any work that day.
Great.
Why? What happens on Sunday?
What? You don't remember? You should know what I'm talking about.
It's not your birthday, and it's not our anniversary. What could it be?
It's my mom's birthday, don't forget it.
Oh, yeah.
It's just as important as our anniversary, so don't forget it that easily.
If only you thought the same way about my parents' birthdays, but you ignore them every year.
Did you say something?
No, nothing at all. What should we get her?
We're gonna hold a party on Sunday, okay? So I'll leave it to you. You can find something for her, okay?
Roger?
Oh, and don't forget the cake, too.
Yeah, sure. Yudo and I used to work in the same company before I became a nurse, and we're the same age. I thought that we were perfect for each other, but after we got married, I realized that there was a lot I didn't know about him. For example, I found out that he had been babied as the eldest son in his family, and that he wasn't just a mommy's boy, but also a daddy's boy too. He demands that we celebrate their birthdays with a bang every single year, and we have to go through the full setup of preparing a party, getting a present, and bringing them a cake, even though he never does anything for my parents. And of course, I'm the one that does everything. To top it off, he starts the party as though he's the one that arranged everything and takes all the credit. After 2 years of marriage, it started to get to me. And to be honest, I really can't be bothered to do this for the rest of my life.
Hey Mom, happy birthday, woo!
Happy birthday, Miss Shugiwa.
This is a present from the both of us.
Oh, really? Thank you.
Karen picked it out.
Oh, how wonderful. It's a designer bag. Thank you.
I'm glad you like it. I wanted to buy something that you could use every day.
But the thing is, there's something that I wanted more than a designer bag. I would have preferred that over this present.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then we can buy that as a present for you next year if you'd like.
Something you wanted, more? What is it? I can get that instead.
I want a grandchild, Yudo.
What?
You've already been married for 2 years. You should have had your first child by now. I want to see my first grandchild and hold them in my arm.
Well, that's not so easy, Mom. It's not like we can just get pregnant through willpower.
Your cousin Takeru's already having his second child. It's not fair.
Oh, he is? Huh, good for him.
Isn't it wonderful? I can't wait to see my own grandchild. Yuto, you've got to hurry it up.
Yeah, but we're still pretty young. We don't have to rush anything, do we? We should just leave it to nature.
Don't be ridiculous. You're too carefree.
You're the eldest son, Yuto. You got a responsibility to create an heir for the Sugiura family. You can't ignore that and leave things to nature.
Thy father's right. That includes you too, Karen. You're the eldest son's wife. You should be aware of the responsibility you have too.
Well, we are trying, but...
Don't tell me you're not infertile, are you? It's going to be very problematic if you are.
What?
What?
No, you can't be serious. Tell me it's not true.
Well, I don't know for sure, but I've heard that it's been a year since you started trying, and you haven't been able to conceive naturally. Then it's a sign that you could be infertile, but it's not definite. And there's always...
But you've already been married for 2 years. What have you been doing? Oh no, what do we do?
How about you get yourself checked up?
You're a nurse, so it should be easy for you to get an infertility test, right? Let's find out what's wrong with you.
I may be a nurse, but that's got nothing to do with how easy it is to get tests done.
Just find out whether you're infertile or not. Do you understand me?
Yeah, of course. I couldn't help but feel like my mother-in-law had hit the bullseye. I wasn't sure, so I had the knowledge to know that infertility was a possibility after we had been trying for this long. If you're unable to conceive naturally after a year of trying, there's a high chance that either one of us could be infertile. If you get the test done, then there's ways to increase the chances of conceiving by working out when your ovulation period is, which is when a woman is most fertile. But being a nurse, I've already kept note of my daily body temperature, when my ovulations should start and end, and overall, my period is on the regular side. I've been making the most of that information by making sure that we have sex when I'm most fertile. However, if we haven't been able to get pregnant after 2 years of trying, then we have to suspect that infertility is the problem. Hey, Yudo, how about we go and get some infertility tests done next time we're both off work?
Huh? Why do I have to go with you? You can go by yourself.
You want me to go alone?
Yeah, go by yourself. You're not a kid, so you can manage, can't you?
No. I just think it's best that you get checked up too. Men can be sterile too, you know.
What? Are you trying to say that I'm to blame for us not getting pregnant?
I don't blame either of us for anything.
Then what are you trying to say, huh?
Don't get so irritated, Yuto. I just think it's best that we both get checked up and see that neither of us has a problem with infertility.
Really?
Yeah, your parents will feel more at ease if they know that neither of us has a problem.
Guess so. Otherwise, they'll just keep on asking. Alright, let's go get checked up together.
Great. Then I'll make an appointment with a clinic with a friend that works on a Thursday. Is that okay? I somehow managed to convince my husband to come with me, and we both went to get checked up. And then, a few days later, I returned to the clinic alone to hear the results of the test. Yuto, I got the results of the fertility test we took.
Oh yeah, how was it?
Well, it looks like it's a little difficult for me to get pregnant after all.
What? You can't be serious! This is the worst! Why am I stuck with someone who can't have children?
You don't have to say it like that. It's difficult for me to have children, but it doesn't mean that I'm infertile.
What are you gonna tell my mom, huh? She's gonna be heartbroken.
I'm planning on talking to your mom myself.
Fine, so it was your fault that we couldn't have any children after trying for so long. Great, now we know.
What do you mean my fault?
Whatever, you better get the treatment you need and work harder to get pregnant.
Excuse me? Why do I have to work hard on my own? This is something we have to go through together.
What? Well, it's got nothing to do with me. You're the one that can't get pregnant.
Having children is something a couple has to deal with together.
It's a problem that you created.
The moment he said those words, I could tell that my feelings for Yuto had completely disappeared. If he was behaving like this before we had even gotten pregnant, then what would he be like when I was suffering from morning sickness when I was pregnant? What about during labor? Would he help me raise our child? After letting Yuto know, I went to report the results of the test to his parents, and they reacted exactly the way I had predicted to.
It's all your fault that I don't have a grandchild in my arms right this moment.
But it's not like I'm infertile.
Do you understand how serious this is? We won't have a boy to take over the family business if our eldest son's wife can't have children.
We'll give you another 2 years, but if you don't get pregnant within that time, then we'll have to start considering divorce.
Divorce?
We have the right to demand a divorce if you can't do what's expected of you.
We've got no choice but to demand a divorce if we want to protect the Sugiura name.
I understand. Well, I expected them to react like that. He just stood there and listened. Do I want to be with him for the rest of my life? Even if I miraculously got pregnant within their time limit, will I be happy as a parent? With a partner like Yuto? I couldn't help but keep on wondering what about the future held in store for me if I stayed with Yuto. But 6 months had passed after I heard the results of our test, and we didn't get any treatment done. And we didn't have any sex, not once.
What's the point in doing it with someone who can't even have children? I'm just gonna get tired. Give up.
Hearing him say that he wasn't even bothered to try having children again made me feel like I was wasting my time too. Ultimately, we were probably going to end up divorced. So I decided that I had to get my priorities straight and do what needed to be done before I announced that I wanted to get divorced.
Is everything going well with your infertility treatment? I hope you've got good news for us.
Yuto hasn't been interested in trying recently. It's not like he's not in the mood anymore.
Don't blame Yuto. It's not his fault. You're the one that has to fix it. Honestly, if you can't have any children, then hurry up and divorce Yuto. I'm sick of waiting.
Do you want your son and I to get divorced because I can't have children and you think I'm wasting his time?
Every second counts. Every second he's stuck with you is another second without a grandson in my arms.
Okay, I understand. And then one day...
Hey, you got the day off of work today, right?
Yeah?
Alright, there's someone I wanted you to meet, so I'm bringing them on.
Someone you want me to meet? Who is it?
Yeah, it's my girlfriend. She's coming over to the house right now, so just wait a few minutes, will ya?
Girlfriend?
Yeah, my new girlfriend.
What are you talking about?
She's here.
What are you talking about, Yuto? You've got to explain properly.
Hey, well, come on in.
Hello? Who on earth are you?
This is Moika, my girlfriend. We've been going out for a while.
Going out? Excuse me? What the hell are you talking about?
I'm dating Moika, and we've already been pretty serious about each other.
I'm really sorry.
That's not all. Guess what? Moika's pregnant.
She's what?
She's pregnant with my kid.
What?
I'm finally gonna be a father.
What are you talking about?
I'm gonna be with Moika, Karen. I want a divorce.
You cheated on me, and you're not even guilty about it? What gives you the right to take that attitude with me?
I really wanted a baby, Karen, and I wasn't gonna get one from you.
That doesn't mean that it's okay for you to cheat.
But you can't have kids, can you? Not my fault.
I told you, I'm not infertile. It's just difficult for me to have children.
Yeah, but we can't have any kids no matter how many times we try.
Yeah, but that's because...
It's your fault. It didn't take long for Moeka to get pregnant.
I'm really sorry, but I think that Yuto and I were meant to meet each other. It's destiny. Destiny?
Yeah, Moeka and I were meant to be together, unlike you and me, Karen.
Are you trying to tell me that you made a mistake in marrying me? Seriously?
I'm sorry, but I want to start over with Moeka and the baby I'm gonna have with her.
What are you planning on telling your parents? They'll probably be disappointed in you for cheating.
I've already told them everything. You don't have to worry about that.
What? You told them before you told me?
Yeah, they were really happy to hear about the baby.
They're supporting you even though you've been having an affair?
Can you blame them? They've been wanting to have grandchildren for years.
You and your parents are all despicable people.
They told me to hurry up with the divorce and get married to Moeka straight away.
Fine, let's get divorced.
You're sure about that?
In return, I'm going to make sure you pay compensation for the affair you've been having.
Why should I pay you anything? It's your fault for not being able to get pregnant.
That doesn't make it okay for you to have a child with another woman behind my back. There was a chance for me to have children if we kept up the treatment and actually tried to have sex. But you were the one that told me that having sex was a waste of time and refused to work through this with me. And your mom purposefully put a lot of pressure on me to deal with my problem on my own. I got voice recordings stored as evidence, so you can't deny that you've been immoral towards me.
What?
Ever since Yuto had told me that he wasn't interested in trying to have children with me anymore, I had been preparing for the day he would demand a divorce. That was why I had gone to visit my mother-in-law so many times, in order to collect evidence of the unreasonable lectures she would give me about not being able to have children. I'm going to get a lawyer, and I'm going to fight you in court to get reimbursed for all the money I spent on treatment at the clinic. You're going to pay for this. And you too, Moeka. Don't think that you'll get away with this that easily. What? But...
Hey, Moeka's pregnant. How can you even think of taking her to the courts? Don't you have a heart?
I'd rather be a cold woman that can face reality rather than be the kind of stupid, naive woman that gets pregnant with a man she knows is married and has the gall to say that it's destiny to the woman he's married to. You're both paying for what you've done. No excuses. I silenced Yuto and went to gather all of my things before I returned to my parents' house. I left the house and the furniture to Yuto because I wasn't interested in keeping any of it and managed to gain 80% of the savings we had kept in our shared bank account. I feel so much better now. I'm the happiest I've been in years. And then, 3 years after getting divorced from Yuto, I got remarried to a nurse working in the same hospital as me. We worked as a team to create the best environment for having a baby, and we're currently pregnant with our first child. I finally passed the first trimester, and I'm starting to think about taking maternity leave so that I can completely focus on having our baby. Not long after I started my maternity leave, I bumped into someone I didn't expect to meet ever again while I was in town. Huh? It's been a long time. This is a pretty funny coincidence. It was Moeka, the naive woman that had broken up my marriage by sleeping with my stupid husband. However, I noticed that there was something off about her. Who's that over there? That's my husband. Your husband? Yeah, my husband and our son. Huh? Our son? What happened to Yuto? I thought he was I already divorced Yuto a while back. You divorced? Then what about your son? This is the same son I was pregnant with when I first met you. Right. So you're raising him? Yes, of course. I'm surprised he actually let that slide. I would have expected him to struggle for custody. Yeah, well, I told him the truth about everything. He really didn't have a choice. Oh, that's why. That makes sense. So you actually knew everything from the start? I don't know. I don't presume to know everything about what happened between you both. But I had a few questions when I divorced Yuto that haven't been answered yet. Do you have some time to talk alone? Sure. I think I have the right to know the truth, and I'm a little curious about what happened to Yuto after that. As you can see, I'm perfectly happy with a family of my own. Can you tell me the truth about your relationship with Yuto? Well, the truth is, my current husband was in prison for about 2 years. What? I didn't know that. I really didn't expect to hear anything like that. He was put in prison, but it wasn't completely his fault. 2 of his colleagues started arguing about something, and when it became violent, my then boyfriend tried to intervene. We tried to argue that it was in self-defense and that he wasn't guilty. We barely managed to decrease his sentence to 2 years. So that's why. I was pregnant with our baby when he went to prison, so I had no other choice. I knew it. There's no way it could have been Yuto's baby. He's sterile. So you knew about it after all. We went to get fertility tests done together, and I found out that it was difficult for me to have children, and Yuto's was diagnosed with male infertility. But why didn't you tell him the truth? Well, Yuto was really proud. Besides, it was just a pain just imagining the chaos that would ensue when his parents found out that their eldest son couldn't father any children. They were really overprotective of him, and he had been babied for such a long time. That was really kind of you, Karen. No, not really. My feelings for Yuto had disappeared pretty early on, and if anything, I was looking for the right time to demand a divorce. I had been gathering evidence for a long time to make sure I had the advantage in court, too. Yeah, I can imagine that you wouldn't want to be with him for the rest of your life. A lot of his behavior was pretty questionable. If anything, you turning up and introducing yourself as his mistress was the perfect situation. It wasn't the perfect marriage, but it was the perfect divorce. What do you mean? I knew that he was sterile, so I realized that you were lying about it being his baby. It was karma, and I was able to demand a lot in compensation, since the divorce was his fault for having an affair. So that's why you agreed to the divorce so easily. Exactly. And why did you tell Yuto that the baby was his? How did you meet him? I found out that I was pregnant when my current husband was sentenced in court. We weren't married then, and I was worried about the future. Seriously? That's really bad timing. Yeah, my parents passed away when I was young, and I didn't have anyone else to turn to. I didn't know what else to do. I just knew that I wanted to protect our baby, no matter what. And just when you had nowhere to go, you met Yuto and tricked him into thinking that it was destiny? I'm sorry. He asked me out to dinner and told me over and over again how he wanted children. I thought I could use that. I went out with him a few times thinking that he wouldn't notice a few weeks difference if I told him that I was pregnant. I just wanted to get through labor and give birth to a healthy baby. But that's still not a good enough reason to steal someone else's husband. I really am sorry. I know that I did something unforgivable. You're not the only one to blame. Even if you didn't agree to go out, Yuto probably would have cheated sooner or later. But you're a lot more cunning than I expected you to be. You're not as naive as I thought you were either. I wonder. I knew that what I was doing was wrong, but it was naive of me to expect that everything would go so well. And then, when your boyfriend got out of jail, you bumped into him and decided to get back together? No, it wasn't a coincidence. What? I planned to leave Yuto from the very beginning. I was just going to stay with him during the 2 years my then boyfriend was in prison, and leave Yuto when he was released. I was just waiting for him to be freed. What? I'm sorry. I agreed to marry Yuto with all of that in mind. I broke up your marriage for those 2 years. Wow. Has anyone ever told you that you're a scheming bitch? I'm aware of it. I told Yuto and his parents the truth about my son when I knew that my boyfriend was going to be released. It was the only way to get the divorce over and done with as quickly as possible. They must have been pretty shocked. Yeah, they were furious and told me to get out and never come back. They demanded a lot in compensation, but I was prepared for that. I had saved a lot during the 2 years I was with him and paid him the money he demanded in one go. I don't think anyone could expect a plot twist where the son he had loved as his own turned out to be the son of your jailed ex-boyfriend. Yeah, I'm surprised that I managed to be so ruthless too. Oh, sorry. No, you're absolutely right. You ended up getting divorced just 2 years after marrying him? Yeah, it's a shame I didn't get to see the look on their faces when they were told that your son wasn't his child. They looked pretty terrifying. Their lives were completely turned upside down. I'm sorry that I broke up your marriage like that. I broke it up just to get financial support for those 2 years. You don't have to apologize. I was going to divorce him anyway. As a result, you gave me the advantage in court, and I demanded compensation from you too. We both profited from it, and Yuto was the only one that suffered, but he deserved it. I'm not going to complain about it now, and I found happiness with my current husband. It means a lot to me for you to say that. Thank you. But I'm glad that you finally found happiness. You look really cheerful. Yeah, I am happy. That's why I can't forgive what you did, but I'm not going to hold a grudge against you. I doubt we'll ever meet again, so I just want you to know that. I hope that you'll use your brains to put your own happiness first without crushing the happiness of the other people around you. Take care. Yeah, I hope that you give birth to a healthy baby. Take care of yourself too. Phew, wow. Life has more plot twist than a novel. I never expected to meet her here. I met Moika and felt a lot better after I heard what happened to Yuto after that. I was surprised to get a phone call from another individual I didn't expect to talk to ever again.
Karen, it's been a long time. How are you?
What do you want, Yuto?
Don't be so cold, Karen. Aren't you happy to hear from your husband? It's been years since we last spoke.
Excuse me? We got divorced 3 years ago.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about. Why don't we get back together?
What?
Please, Karen, you won't believe what Mocha did, okay? She suddenly told me that our son wasn't actually my kid after all and that it was someone else's baby. I did everything to make sure that she grew up healthy and strong, and my parents were super happy that she gave birth to a boy. But then she suddenly announces that she wants to divorce and took the kid with her? It's like a funeral in our house here. We're all super depressed.
Of course it wasn't your baby, Yuto. I knew it was impossible when you brought her home.
Huh? Why?
It's impossible because you're sterile. You can't have children. There's no way you could father a child.
You're saying I'm sterile? No way! You're the one that can't have kids, not me. I'm fine.
I told you over and over that the test said that it was difficult for me to have children, but that it was a possibility for me to conceive if I had treatment done and worked hard to create the right environment.
You didn't get pregnant no matter how many times we tried.
Yeah, because you were sterile.
I don't understand. What do you mean I'm sterile?
If you think I'm lying to you, then why don't you get tested and see for yourself? Or do you want me to send you the documents I received when I went to hear the results of the test we took?
Hey, why don't we go and get checked up together, okay? I think it's important that we want to go together, right? What do you think?
What? Why should I? I'm already married and 8 months pregnant.
What? You're married?
Is it so hard to understand? I found a special someone that actually understands me and actually supported me throughout my treatment and is a wonderful husband. He's going to be a wonderful father, too. I don't need you. When I told him that, Yuto went completely silent. Even over the phone, I could tell that he was completely speechless and almost started laughing at how pathetic he was. I was sick of the pressure you and your parents were putting on me to get pregnant and the verbal abuse your mom was always launching at me when I went to see her. But I think the best thing that's happened to me is you being gone from my life. I felt a lot of stress just being with you.
What? I was a good husband, wasn't I? I thought that we were great together.
You always prioritized your parents over mine. And no matter what they said to me, you never said anything to defend me or stand up for me.
But I...
Anyway, I've already started a new life with my current husband. So don't call me ever again.
Hey, Karen, don't hang up, please!
I feel so much better now. I've said it right to his face. This time, I'm saying goodbye for good, Yuto. I hung up the phone and immediately blocked his number. I went to the phone store with my husband to get a new phone number and completely cut Yuto out of my life. Yuto was the biggest mistake I had ever made, and I wanted to completely forget that part of my life. Just like that, the drama surrounding our divorce had been cleared up, and the curtains had closed on that chapter of my life. I'm currently living happily ever after with my husband and our beautiful little girl. I heard later on from my husband that Yuto and his parents had charged into the hospital I was working at while I was on maternity leave, demanding that the hospital let them talk to me. They were shouting, "Where's Karen? Where is she?" and caused a commotion in the hospital. They had even shouted that I should give birth to a baby for the Sugiura family and take responsibility as Yuto's wife, and wouldn't listen to any of the staff when they said that they weren't going to let them see me. Of course, they weren't going to get away with causing a fuss like that. The police were called and they were all taken away. I was actually in the hospital as a patient at the time, but my husband kept quiet about what had happened until after I'd given birth. I am really lucky to have married such a considerate, loving husband. I might not have met my current husband if it wasn't for her perfect timing.